My name is Brian Hankin. I'm the CEO and founder of Revolution Partners, a company I started in March 2003. We called the company Revolution because some companies are really ready to reinvent and rethink how they do their marketing and innovation strategy. The way we typed the company name was the R was in parentheses, and so it's to recognize that some companies are ready for a revolution and some companies had to better evolve. And so when you think about the word revolution without the R, it means evolution.
Brian first started thinking about starting his own company before we were even dating. When I first met him, we met because we were working at the same company together. And the moment that I met him, one of the first things that he talked about was wanting to start his own company someday. As we became more serious in our relationship, we started dating, we got engaged, he became more and more serious about starting his own company someday. So the sequence of events was really going to business school was the next step after we were engaged and married. We decided to both go to business school. And Brian knew that once he graduated from business school and getting his master's degree, he would want to go to work for a big company for a little bit of time, but with the goal of learning as much as possible so that then he would be as successful as possible when he started his own company.
I decided to start my own company going back to really 1997, 1998. I was working at Coca-Cola as part of the brand and marketing team and innovation team at Coca-Cola. And at the time, I realized that there weren't a lot of companies that you can bring in on the outside to help on a consulting basis with marketing strategy. There were large consultancies that you could use, but they didn't really have an expertise in this. And there were agencies and research companies that didn't really do the marketing strategy. They did sort of executional pieces of it. That was where I first had the idea. Then I went out and left Coca-Cola and joined a smaller consultancy doing similar kind of work. And in 2003 decided to set up my own shop and start the company.
I supported Brian's decision to be an entrepreneur. It was something that I knew he really wanted to do. So I did support his decision. I also, I guess, if you ask how I supported his decision, I think I did that by two things. One is I kept working so that he could have his own company and we could take a little bit of financial risk with his job in case it didn't work out. It was going to be okay because I still had my job. So even though at this point when he started, we had one baby, Ellie, and then two babies when Tyler came, I took my maternity leave from work, but then I went back to work. So that was good because we had one solid stream of income while he was starting to do his entrepreneurial things. The second way that I think I helped him was by emotionally supporting him and mentally supporting him. So I gave him lots of encouragement because I knew that it was in his heart what he really wanted to do. And so it was important for me to support him mentally and emotionally so that he could also try and find that dream.
When I started the company, we were very small. We had only two and a half employees, and we were actually in borrowed space. So a friend of mine said, you can come and work out of our offices. And so I took him up on that offer and he incubated us. He gave us free internet and phone and space and enabled us to get some momentum going and to start the company. But it was basically borrowed space in someone else's office. We started the company with just a couple of employees. We had one client, the Intercontinental Hotels Group, and then one by one we added people and added more clients and started working with other large companies like Coca-Cola and Hankin and Colgate and Pfizer, et cetera, and started growing the business and then ultimately moved into this space that we're in now here in Buckhead.
Revolution through the years has been a really great experience for us. For Brian, for sure. As a business person, he's been very, very successful. But it's also been good for us as a family. And I say that first for Brian because he's been able to realize his dream of being an entrepreneur and being very successful. He and his business partner who helped him start the company, Brad White, has actually, they've had clients, good big clients such as Home Depot, UPS, Heineken, lots of different companies that he has worked for they've really enjoyed the work. So I think they've been successful from a business perspective, from a revenue perspective. They've been successful because they've employed a number of people in the Atlanta area, given them jobs that they've really enjoyed. And I think most importantly for them, they have been successful because they have enjoyed it. It's what they really love to do. Marketing is a passion for Brian, and he gets to combine his passion for marketing with starting his own business. And I think that's been very important.
So there were some great stories along the way, and the first 4 years for us was a lot of high growth. So we grew about 50 to 100% a year every year for the first 4 years. A couple of the major wins, one when we beat out a lot of the big consultancies, companies like Monitor and Boston Consulting Group and others, for a major project at Pfizer, the large pharmaceutical company. Another one was when we won the work at Hankin and helped Heineken brand Heineken Light as they launched that product, and then rebrand the core brand Heineken. So as a small company in Atlanta, to get these big accounts on these high-profile assignments was a major success. We only hired what we called once-in-a-lifetime people. So we would spend a lot of time recruiting at college campuses and recruiting out of other businesses to find people that we thought were truly spectacular and could help us get better. So every single employee hire was important to us, and we tried very hard to hire the very best people we could. We survived the recession and came out pretty strong from that. But about 2 years ago, I woke up and I started thinking, how can we grow the business? And we had tried several things to grow the company, a couple of different strategies, and I realized that at one point, to grow, we might have to try something radically different. After several months of thinking about things and writing down the options and talking to my advisors, I realized that the best option for us to continue to grow the company was actually to sell the company and become part of a bigger company so we can continue to grow our people, our clients, and as a business. So we talked to several companies and ended up having a couple different companies make an offer to buy Revolution. And in early August 2012, we decided to sell the company to Profit. Profit is a company with 10 offices and about 300 people around the world doing marketing strategy and innovation. So now my role is different. Whereas I was the founder and CEO of Revolution, I'm now a partner at this larger company, and I no longer have to do a lot of the things I used to have to do at Revolution, and have additional responsibilities now at Profit.
I really think at the end it was the best decision. And I think that because I could tell that the philosophy of Profit as a marketing consulting firm is very similar to Brian's philosophy in terms of how to do marketing consulting. And the other thing that I think was very important to him was that all of his employees who wanted to remain employed could remain employed and still have a job once the merger happened or the sale happened. So I think for that reason it was good. I think almost the more important reason that it was a success for Brian is because now he can again start thinking about, he has the freedom to start thinking about what the next thing is he wants to do from an entrepreneurial perspective. So I can already tell the wheels are turning, he's very excited, and he gets to start thinking about some of those new things that he might like to do. So I really think it was a great decision for him. He was able to be successful, and now he's able to think about what that next step is. I think it's great.
If I could go back and change anything about the last 9 years in Revolution, I wouldn't change a lot. I think we did a great job of starting with the company with just an idea and a couple of people and growing it and ultimately selling it and becoming part of something bigger. I feel great about that. What I have learned along the way is that you can't always predict the future, and you have to trust in yourself to know that if you make the right decisions, the decisions you think are right at any given time, that generally things will work out, and just trust in yourself and move forward.